I wondered how I got talked into this crazy stunt. But to join the Gamma Epsilon Kappa fraternity, crazy was required. After all, being weird was a requirement to be a GEK. So I carefully hid in the storeroom of the boutique under a pile of returns until they locked up for the night. The use of a small stink bomb had created the confusion I needed to hide just before closing. It also helped, although I hated the reality that I was small and could look like a really nerdy girl if I brushed out my hair and wore androgynous clothes. I knew I had only 1 minute from the time they set the alarms till they activated. But I had planned well. 40 seconds later, I had the control panel open and was punching in what I fervently hoped was the correct bypass code. Time stood still as I waited for the green light. Beep. 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 Beep beep. The green bypass LED came on. I slid to the floor, sweating and grinning. The place was mine till they arrived in the morning. Bathsheba's was the boutique of choice for the yuppie co-eds at our school. And tomorrow was when they were having their big introduction of new gowns for the Christmas ball. My assignment was to borrow their feature gown from their window display and decorate the mannequin with a hideous ma and pa dress. Courtesy of 3 GK girls who worked in the school costume shop. It was after 2 when the mall cleaning crew departed, and I was able to carry the draped mannequin from the display window to the back room. I was glad they used security lights, so I could see what I was doing. I pulled off the covering and stared in awe at the gown. A shimmering formal of earth and forest tone velvets, it was floor-length with long sleeves and a high collar. Shaking off the mesmerizing sight, I carefully removed the gown and placed the patchwork nightmare on the mannequin. I checked my watch. 3 a.m. When the guard passed out of sight, I put the redressed mannequin back in the window. I returned to the storeroom to hide things and myself. I planned to escape during the unveiling ceremony panic. As I settled back for one of the now warm sodas I had brought, my eyes again fell on the beautiful gown. There was something about it that said it could turn an ugly duckling into a princess. I looked around and realized no one would know if I tried it on. I must have been sleep-deprived, but soon I had carefully pulled from the shelves a complete set of women's underpinnings and was, with great difficulty, lacing myself into a corset. Stockings, tap pants, slip. A pair of incredibly lifelike breasts that glued on. Barely breathing, I slid the dress on and marveled at its almost perfect fit. The towering velvet boots I had removed from the mannequin actually fit my small feet. When I stared into the big dressing room mirror's eye, I don't know. Gone was Albert Morris, consummate nerd. My long auburn hair and narrow face looked like they belonged on the extremely feminine figure in the mirror. Even as I wobbled on the ridiculously high heels, I felt poised and graceful. But my hands were so out of place. I very slowly made my way to the front of the store and found a pair of white satin gloves. They took forever to get on. Then I saw the guard coming down the mall. I froze. He swept his flashlight through the store. It lingered on me for a moment, and I almost died. But he kept going. My nerves jangling, I wobbled my way to the back and realized I had not been breathing as the world started to move. I aimed for a soft chair and sat as the lights dimmed and I passed out. I awoke to the shrill sound of several women shouting. As my foggy brain did a caffeine-deprived cold reboot, I found I was unable to stand because of the weird shoes on my feet. And the cord that was holding my ankles together. A formally dressed, very angry-looking older woman was standing in front of me. Young lady, and I use that term very loosely, what are you doing in our showpiece gown, and why is our mannequin dressed like a refugee from the breadline? Before she could get any answer, someone called out that they were supposed to open the doors in 8 minutes. You will be sorry you ever heard of my store. When we open, I am going to call the police and... One of the sales girls got between us and waved my clothes, including my jockey shorts, at her. Her look got infinitely angrier. She was about to start shouting again when the sales girl shouted, "Hey, let's make this pervert earn his panties." We stared at her. With a little makeup, this dummy would look better than the dummy in the window. No, you can't make me, that's against the Geneva Convention. I want my lawyer. I stared at the woman as she started to smile. My brain was still in slow time. I want my mommy. She chuckled. It's perfect. A live mannequin. She pointed at me. And you will do it, or I will have the girls undress you in the front window when we open, then call the police and newspaper. It will be great advertising either way. I started to whimper. Estelle, Susan, grab some makeup and some hairspray. We want our guest star ready for her debut in the window. And throw out those clothes you found. We can't have anyone thinking a guy was in our dressing rooms. 5 minutes of intense activity, and I felt like a lawn or a canvas. They had plucked my eyebrows and used an electric razor to remove my light beard. It was followed with enough makeup to glue my pores shut for a year. When the curtains opened to display their Christmas line, I was in the center of the window display, moving very carefully as I followed someone's instructions on how to move. I was sure my life was over, and almost fell when the inspection crew from the fraternity appeared to grade my work. They looked disgusted, and then Teresa, the VP of the fraternity, took a good look at me and started to giggle. She dragged the others away. When they returned, their smiles and grins told me I had better leave town as fast as possible. In the early afternoon, I was escorted from the display by 4 salesgirls and given a bathroom break. In the ladies' room. When I came out, they videotaped me. I tried to move my hand to cover my head and was told that models never slouched. Instead of the display window, I wound up in an office with the owner, who waved me into a comfortable chair. My feet hurt so badly I would have sat in an electric chair. I started to babble, I'll pay for any damages, I'm going to leave town and never return, I'll do anything, just let me. Shut up. I closed my mouth and stared at her. We have a problem. My brain fuzzily registered the we. This morning, I wanted little more than to kill you for messing up my carefully planned seasonal promotion. She paused. Instead, your antics have created a unique problem. We have sold more clothing today than we did in our best week last year. Everyone says they were so impressed by our having a live mannequin, they came in to look and stayed to buy. If I call the police and have you arrested, I get bad publicity. If I allow you to leave, I lose the best advertising I have had in many years, and you don't have to pay for your actions. I wondered briefly if they would ever find my body after they buried me in the swamp. Finally, Susan made a joke that I should hire you and make your life miserable. She has a point. I almost stopped breathing. So unless you want a breaking and entering charge on your record, as of opening time this morning, you are going to be an employee of Bathsheba's, at least until after Christmas. I assume you are a college student. I nodded weakly. I will want you every evening from 6 till 8, Saturdays from noon till 7, and Sundays from noon till 5. And you will always arrive and depart as a very feminine young woman. I stared at her in horror. In fact, I will insist that you dress and behave as a young woman at all times, on and off the job, until you no longer work for me. Since you saw fit to dress this way yourself, you should have no objections, right? I made fish out of water motions. And because I am quite sure you do not have the proper clothes, I will provide you a complete and very feminine wardrobe. Then tonight, after the mall closes, I have arranged for you to have a complete makeover. You will make quite a cute girl. I found my voice. I don't want to be a girl. You don't have much choice. She reached for her telephone. I can call the police now, if you wish. She had me. My life was ruined either way. I shook my head. Good. I figured you weren't stupid. Besides, I pay my employees well. Including sales bonuses, but subtracting for all the clothes and other support, you should be making about $15 an hour after taxes. She pushed a contract toward me. It said exactly what she foretold. I was to become a co-ed for the rest of the year. And at her boutique, a human mannequin. I would be the laughing stock of the school. My brain finally reached operating speed. $15 an hour after taxes was 5 times what I could make flipping burgers, if I could even get a job. But I would have to look and act like a girl. The clothes made me feel pretty. But I was a guy. Under duress, I signed the contract, which she had witnessed by 4 of the salesgirls. By 9 that evening, I was crippled from the boots, and wondered if I would ever be able to take a deep breath again. They dragged me, after dressing me in a miniskirt and cotton top, to the salon several doors down after closing. When they stripped me to my panties and tied me to the chair, I was afraid they were planning surgery. Getting my whole body waxed probably hurt more. It was almost midnight when I dragged my now thoroughly feminized self from my car up to my dorm room. And found a note saying that GEK had moved everything to their frat house across campus. When I got there, I was met by a welcoming committee, who presented me with my frat pin, my keys, and my new room. In the co-ed section. I was too tired to complain. Even when the guys patted me on the bottom. Sunday was terrible. I had to use the ladies' showers, and they almost laughed themselves sick over my glued-on breasts and hairless body. At least they helped me with my hair. At work I was stuck in the heels, until Susan took pity on my crippled form and found a tall stool, which helped the pain. I did find one benefit. The scenery was a lot better than sitting in the dorm staring at the TV. And it changed constantly. Rebecca, the owner, decided that I needed a girl's name. So by the late afternoon, I was Annette Morris, living mannequin, at least that is what my name tag read. When I got back to the frat, and went to dinner in my new high-fashion jumper, I expected to get ridiculed. But the co-eds defended me, saying I was really brave to walk a mile in my own panties. It didn't help that I looked better than most of them. Attending class in a skirt was a real eye-opener. I got pinched and fondled and asked for dates. And advised by one girl, who told me she was really a boy, that I looked great and to ignore them. Between work and homework, I really did not have time to worry. Within a week, Rebecca had purchased a special stand to which they could secure me in the display window. The best description of the infernal thing was a stainless steel jockstrap that could be locked on an adjustable post. With a second piece of stainless steel that ran up my back and had straps that fit around my chest and shoulders, keeping me rigidly upright. Since everything I wore had skirts, it was easy to secure me, and then add the dress or outfit. Once secured, all I could move were my arms and head. There was no way I could get free. When I complained loudly to Rebecca about this being some type of torture, Estelle showed me an accessory they had purchased. I became very quiet and cooperative. Having a large stainless steel phallus added to the back of the jockstrap was not appealing. Soon I got scared when I discovered I was beginning to enjoy wearing pretty clothes and having long painted nails and big hair. I had always been a wimpy little guy. Yet when I relaxed and acted like the girls at work, I was actually better looking than most of the other girls on campus. And it felt good to no longer feel like a nerd. At least as much. I just wished it were girls, rather than guys, trying to date me. On Thanksgiving the mall was closed, and Rebecca held a Thanksgiving dinner for all the college girls she employed who lived away from home. We were all sitting around after the meal, feeling like balloons, when Rebecca asked me to join her in front of the group. In September, when Annette pulled her mannequin switching stunt, a lot of us wanted to hurt her. And for the next couple of weeks we did our best to embarrass her. But I think the time has come to acknowledge that she has earned our respect. She gave me a hug. Can anyone remember the last time you thought of Annette as anything other than another dedicated employee? Or as anything but a pretty, friendly young woman? There was a lot of quiet mumbling and shaking heads. Annette, this has been the best sales year we have ever had. Your attitude and poise as our living Barbie doll in the window is a large part of that success. So as a tribute to your hard work, I want to present to you a special bonus. She opened a box and handed me the velvet dress I wore that fateful first day. I expect to see you wearing this at the Christmas ball. I can't explain what I felt inside as I hugged her and cried on her shoulder. But that afternoon, Albert suddenly quit being so important. I wondered what my parents would say when Annette drove home for the holidays.